I mean, the man joins the call, and you just really know you're about to really enjoy the next 10, 15, 20, 40 minutes of your life, whatever it might be. The great Hollis Thomas. And Hollis, let me just get all your proper billings in here, okay? Former Eagles defensive tackle. All right.
Correct.
Fourth and John podcast.
Correct.
98.7 The Coast in Wildwood.
Yes.
And you do a specific show for them. What is that called?
It's called Reality Check, the ultimate sports preview.
And just the coolest man you could ever come across, Mr. Hollis Thomas. What's up, brother?
What's up, man? How you feeling? I know the last time we saw each other, you had a nice chunk taken out of the back of your head due to you moving and not respecting the razor.
I did not respect the new razor, new razor.
Did you try what I told you? The 5 blades is the best.
I did. My normal blade, I believe, is a 5 blade. Because after you told me that, I went and I looked at my blade. I believe I got a 5 blade razor, but the ones I bought, I believe, were only the Quattro.
Yes, which means cut your head in English.
To translate from Espanol to Inglés, yes, it means you're going to cut your head, you dumb mother. Yeah, anyway. So that's what happened. I don't think I told the story, but ladies and gentlemen, just real quick to bring up to speed, I bumped into our friend Hollis here at a Fox 29 hit at Chickies and Pizza South Philly. And, oh, by the way, for the people listening, for the people on the podcast, that's not music in your background. That's music in Hollis's background. So our background. So anyway, I bumped into Chickies and Pete's, and I'm like, dude, I just cut the crap out of my head. And you're a fellow bald man, a member of the bald community. And I tell you the story that the movers accidentally packed my overnight bag, so I didn't have my good razor. I bought a razor from Target, and I'm telling you, man, it was a bloodbath. It was like I needed my wife to put a Band-Aid on the back of my head, and like she could barely do it. She was like, it was not a pretty sight. It was blood everywhere, man.
Hey, it was a giant Band-Aid too. It was not unnoticeable.
It was literally holding my head together, believe it or not.
The funniest part is I think you got one of those nude color ones, and actually you couldn't tell if you didn't. Actually, you could tell. I'm not gonna
You're a kind and decent man. Hollis, speaking of wounds that need to heal, the Eagles lost the Super Bowl. That's a segue champion right there.
Yes, you are.
But before we get there, I just want to say this. The best night was the NFC Championship game. They win that game. I go out to Broad Street. I run into some people that you and I know. We have ourselves this great time. How did you at least embrace that party? That was the last party we got to enjoy as a citywide special there when they won the NFC Championship.
Well, I was as you know, I do the Ultimate Sports Preview, the Reality Check, and I did it in Wildwood at Mudhead Brewery, which was awesome. If you're not doing anything anytime, go get yourself a Hero Boy, because it has a whisper of cinnamon. It's delicious, and it'll cool you off, and it's a great way to stay in shape. I came back at halftime. I was watching the game. I had the game playing, so I left at halftime from down there to come back here to join in the festivities. So as I get back, it's the fourth quarter, so I'm going over to enjoy one at my local water hole. I won't say which one, but as you know, they probably take their clothes off there. But that's a whole other story. So as I'm pulling into the parking lot, I noticed that there were an immense amount of police cars, and this is actually the place where when the parades and stuff go, and that people and anything that's happening around the city, in order to keep order, the police pretty much use that as a central location, which wasn't a problem to me because I knew there was going to be yahoos out and everything. But as I continued through the parking lot to pull around the other side, I saw 2 police tanks, and it had me actually rethink my whole night.
Police tanks for the NFC Championship game.
Yes, and as I pulled by him, I was like, "Well, they're not going to have to use them." But as I pulled by and was about to get out of my car, I hear honking and I hear EAGLES, honk, 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 go Bird, and everybody's honking on. I was like, "Yeah, they're going to need those tanks way sooner than I think." So I quickly came, as some people know, I could see the Ben Franklin Bridge from my home, and where I live, we have a makeshift like little park outside, so I can see the fireworks and stuff, and anything that they do. So I just came and parked in my parking spot and just chilled out there with some of the people from my condo building. It was tremendous and safe.
Very safe, as a matter of fact.
Yes.
By the way, once again, for the people on the podcast, Hollis, of course, has the lights going on in the background. He looks tremendous. He looks like $1 million damn. He's got the American flag sunglasses on. It's a beautiful sight every time I see him, my friend. And the music's just coming in at the perfect. I almost hit the post. Hollis, though, it's a problem here because I'm still licking my wounds. I'm still licking my wounds from this loss, and it really felt like, especially in that second half, whether you want to call it a master's class, whether you want to call it chess versus checkers,
right?
Jonathan Gannon and this defense looked like they just got outclassed. How'd you see it?
Well, I'm glad you led with that. Well, let me lead with this first. First, for the game, I feel like the NFL and the officiating crew not only the Chiefs fans and Eagles fans, not only the Eagles fans, but the Chiefs fans also an apology, because they took what could have been one of the greatest games ever played, and they took it upon themselves to inject themselves into it and stop it. You hadn't been called in defensive holding the entire game. That was actually the only one. You missed about 30 or 40. You missed about 30 or 40 calls in general throughout the game, and you take it upon yourself with a minute left to let your presence be felt. And it was the most gut-wrenching call ever. It wasn't even egregious. It wasn't. He said he held him, but there was no jersey pull. But I think
there was at least a handful of jersey. I'll say that there was at least a handful.
If you go back and look, it's about seven or eight other plays on both sides of the ball.
Fair enough.
The DBs on the play that we thought everybody was crucifying Quez Watkins on, that guy was there 30 seconds before that ball even came down. On the crossing route where he's all over his back before the ball even gets there.
Yeah.
If you're gonna make the calls, make them on both sides. You didn't even make that call. You didn't make the face mask call on the fumble.
Mm-hmm. See, this is it's real. Just on your point, though, Hollis, and this is what I don't think enough people understand. Now, my take on it was simple: that letter of the law, was it definition holding?
No.
Oh, you don't think so? Okay, so I think it was, but that wasn't the time to make the call.
No, but this is the thing too, and I had to explain this to a lot of people. When you play this game, you play your hardest at first to gauge what the way the officials are calling, and you try like, okay, so they're going to let us play as long as I don't drag him down, I don't spin him, I don't do it's not going to be called, and that's the way they call the game the entire night up until that point. So to the letter of the law, they're not calling the game to the letter of the law. How the hell are you going to call it now?
That's a great point.
That's it. And it was like you took it out of the player's hands. The other part is you have to step back as a fan. And look, I've been talking about this with Jonathan Gannon. I've talked about it with you all year long. He's not going to change. He said that himself. So all that Eric Bieniemy did was go back and look what we did against the Jacksonville Jaguars when we got that motion. And they exploited it. And they not exploited it once, they exploited it twice on two different plays. And the fact that I was happy to leave his ass in Arizona. I was like, this is where you choose to hold up here? Is that what you choose? Come on, man. And he didn't put our guys in any winning situation. A lot of people are like, oh, D-line didn't show up. Our D-line didn't show up because you lined them up stripe to stripe every play. You did not do a single thing that you did in the previous two games. You didn't even create one-on-ones. You could have lined up four linemen and then brought Hassan Reddick in as a linebacker and lined him up on the edge. That's one-on-one. You didn't even do that. And then the coverage that you had, they were crummy. Mm-hmm. It was an all-out. It's just like our season ended last year, man. Our season ended last year on the opposing team, realizing Jonathan Gannon is not going to change. Last year, you remember what Brian Leftwich and Tom Brady said? We played them earlier this year. They're doing the exact same thing they did then, and they're doing it now. They don't change. That's who they are.
Mm-hmm. No, I do remember that. Yeah,
when you're not going to do anything creative defensively, you don't even have to be creative. Use the tools you got. Our defense was flourishing in spite of Jonathan Gannon, and it's the same. It's the same thing. It was the same thing. I'm glad his ass is gone. I'm sorry, not sorry. I'm glad he's gone.
No, I'm with you. And it's because of the adjustment. And I think this is the game where it was most exposed on the global stage.
The same way.
But in terms of a global stage, the Super Bowl, and then somehow magically he still gets a job by the people who own the building and now hired him to coach it full time. Go figure. But on that note, and I thought this was interesting because two things I want to cross reference with you here. The first thing is the field and the effect on the defensive line. I know every Eagle, and I give them credit. They were men about it. They just said, forget about the field. Both teams got to play on it. But if you're relying solely on a 4-man rush or maybe a 5-man rush, something tells me that that's going to affect the way the Eagles are playing defense a little bit more than it's going to affect the way the Chiefs are playing.
Well, because our coach didn't put us in quality. Basically, our defense took on the personality of our coach, of the defense coordinator. Passive aggressive. Like he was like he. I don't know if you've seen the Arizona thing. Buckle up, Arizona! It's going to be fun. So mundane and full of less life than I could even imagine. It's like I don't know. He doesn't motivate me to play. His scheme doesn't motivate me to play. It's like when you look at it, there was nothing. There was nothing to it. And sometimes you want to line up stripe to stripe and beat somebody, but you have to know that the other when you're physically superior, more superior than the other team, there are going to be some wrinkles in there to catch you off guard so they can win, and you have to match that. You have to. It looked like that they didn't even go over that play. Those two plays on the goal line, and that was horrible. It was the biggest travesty that I've ever seen. They looked like the Keystone Cops. They didn't even look like pro players. The one thing I've been around some of the defensive players and stuff, and I wanted to ask the question so bad is, how the hell do you like this defense? Because it's like, as a defender, you want to attack. You don't want them to know everything that you're doing. It's like sometimes you want to line up and have them think you're going one way and you're going the other. It's like we were right, just like Byron Leffer said. He was looking at the screen. It's like, they're gonna be right where and tap the screen like they're right where they're doing the same thing they did last time. They didn't change anything.
Okay, so you don't give a damn about the field.
No. Okay,
I didn't. All right. Field. Okay, I didn't think. Okay, all right, just making sure. Now this. Go ahead.
No, because both teams, like you said, both teams had to play on it. So
fair enough.
It's like you had to, as a player, once you see the slipping and stuff, you have to do whatever you can do to get the best footing you possibly can. And if that's change your steps and stuff, it's a lot of things you can do. You can shorten your stance distance so you don't slip as much, and just got to be sure-footed.
Okay. This is the other thing I want to cross reference because your former teammate. What did you guys play 2 years together? Quentin Michael and you.
Q. Oh, that's my guy. Yeah. No, we played like 3 or 4 years.
Okay. So Quentin Michael was telling me yesterday, and he was on yesterday's show, and he was talking about how the tutelage of Vic Fangio showed itself a little bit in this game, where the Eagles did a little bit. One thing they changed, and it was playing more man in the tight red zone situations. Right. And he said that was something that the Eagles kind of stepped out of their comfort zone in order to attempt to combat their opponent, but they just weren't ready for it. They almost stepped out of their comfort zone. Can you attest to that as well?
Well, yeah, it's like when you're trying to he's correct. It's like when you step out of your comfort zone and you don't practice it. It's kind of like when we watched them do a blitz. It's like they've never done it before, and they stepped out of their comfort zone. It's like there's nothing to it, and not only that, I don't think that he coaches communication, and Quentin will tell you when Jim Johnson was here, communication is the key. They look like they weren't talking to nobody. They didn't relay anything. You don't have everybody's talking about you. You're supposed to run stunts against the line that they had. You're supposed to run stunts against those yahoos. Especially if they're going to be double teaming your stuff and doing all that extra stuff. And then if you're going to run coverage, you need to cut up the run. We don't have enough guys up front to block to get every gap. And when you have the two high safeties and you have to cut up the run. You have to run stunts up front to cut up the run and get rid of some of the gaps to make it easier on the linebackers and the front seven. Excuse me. We did none of that. And we ran stunts against Pittsburgh Steelers. What happened in the Pittsburgh Steelers game? We annihilated them. We annihilated them, didn't we?
You got home. You got home.
Yeah, exactly. The thing with this guy is he's talking about he's not going to change. I don't know what. I don't know. I'm just glad he's gone. That's
Okay.
it. You know,
Okay.
I'm not going to even bash him anymore. He sucks.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
No, hold on a second. Before we move on from him and talk about better things, did you see the footage of him meeting Kyler Murray?
No.
Oh, I'm going to treat you right now.
Okay.
The Arizona Cardinals on their TikTok account posted this video of Jonathan Gannon about to leave the facility before they tell him, hey, Kyler's working out if you want to meet him. Here's this.
He's in there?
Now it's a done deal.
Hey, good. Let's go. There you go. Let's go. We're ready. Let's go. We're going to go this thing for you. Yes, sir. And go this thing for you, man. Let's go. Let's go win. Got it? I got you.
Now that's intensity. That's a guy that's going to go get it right there, my friend.
Yeah. Man. I think Kyler Murray just is happy to see somebody new.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And I'm not gonna say I'm happy for him. I'm happy he's moving on. But he was as a defense coordinator to me, he was inept, and I don't know if he's gonna be a good head coach. But I know he wasn't a good defensive coordinator.
Okay.
It was an okay one. He was not even adequate. What he did, everybody would tear that apart. And you will only go so far with that. Now with a proper talent like he had, we can go to the Super Bowl, but you're not going to win when you get there because things like this will continue to rear its ugly head. Our season ended last year because of his ineptitude to put a quality defense out there and play chess and not checkers. I don't even think he was playing dice. I think he was out there playing jacks. But it was bad to me, and I was like, I felt sorry for the defense because you have to, as a team player, you have to do what you have to learn. You kind of like when your mom when you're a little kid and your mom brings out Brussels sprouts and stuff. You're like, I don't want to eat that. It's like you'll eat what's put before you and learn to die with dignity. So
you have met my mother. You have met my mother. So let me ask you. So to replace him, are you a Lovie Smith guy? Are you a Tracy Rocker guy? Are you a Denard Wilson guy? Who do you like replacing him as defensive coordinator, other than yourself, of course?
I don't want to do that. I would need some time to figure things out. I know what to call and stuff, but I wouldn't want to just jump right into it. I would like to have to shadow somebody first, but I know what to call and I know how to dissect people, and that's when you're a defense coordinator is and then shadowing some of them in the past. The one thing you have to be is confident and you're not scared. He struck me as scared. On my wish list is I heard they were talking to Van Joseph too. Vance Joseph too.
Yeah.
So between him and Lovie Smith, I would love one of those guys. Tracy Rocker? What Tracy Rocker?
Mm-hmm.
Who's he with?
Well, he's with the Eagles. He's with the Eagles. He was their D-line coach. So it's
yeah, that's my okay. When you called him Tracy Rocker, I was like, no, Rock. I like Rock. I do like Rock. I think he would tackle more.
Mm-hmm.
I think he would tackle more. But I think what this defense truly needs is somebody like Lovie Smith to add some stability. And it's like because Lovie Smith, he's going to attack, but he's not going to put us in the barn. It's like he's going to attack. He's going to keep the points low, and he's going to keep him off the board. And if you add him and he wants to be here, if you give it to Lovie Smith, if you interview Lovie Smith, and he say he wants the job, you give it to him.
Okay,
that's a point. Hey, dude, I've been around Lovie. He's like one of the better defensive minds, and we can get that kid out of University of Illinois.
Okay, let's party. Let's party right there. Let's talk about something that is
the
also
quarterback that is
lighter note. Yeah, Jalen Hurts. I mean, I can't remember a guy in just his second year as a starter taking this amount of a leap in any sport that Jalen Hurts took in this year that we just watched. Absolutely incredible.
Let me take a sip of my victory juice. Because everybody, what did I tell everybody?
You told him he was going to be the man. You told him he was going to be the man.
Who's been singing? And he's done nothing less than become stellar. Way faster than I anticipated. and I commend him. That's one of the best. And that was the other thing too, of why I feel like they owe the fans in general an apology, because they bitched him on about Josh Allen not having. He ran out of time, and his team did not help him. We got stopped by the damn referees, the officials who's supposed to be seen and not heard. You were not heard the entire damn game, and you want to exact and put your fingerprints on the game like that. It was the biggest travesty. I'm not going to Michael Barkan it up. It was the biggest travesty known to man, though. I'm like, come on, dude. I was like, and that's the main reason why people think that your game is rigged. And then you got Roger Goodell out there hugging on Chris Jones, talking about, I don't care where you're the quarterback at, and then hug. I was like, you're the commissioner of the NFL. Get your ass out of there. What the hell is wrong with you? You're supposed to be congenial. And the thing and that's the other part that makes this all look fixed.
Yeah, you know what?
Do I blame the conspiracy theorists? No, because you're giving them all the ammunition they need.
Right.
I was like, that was the worst call known to man right there.
Mm-hmm.
You let the call be made. You won't do anything. And then what about? Hold on. I don't even know if you paid attention to this. So we snapped the ball, and then they stopped the play inexplicably because they forgot to let the Chiefs substitute. I don't know. You can bleep this out. How the fuck is that the fault? And then on top of that, you allow this goofy bastard to challenge the play. Mm-hmm. Really? But have you ever seen that happen?
And they still got it wrong, by the way.
I know, but have you ever seen that happen though?
I have never seen that happen. Never seen that happen.
Hence why I say conspiracy theorists have a point.
So here's what I'll say about that, just while we're on the subject, because I've seen all the videos and stuff about and Arian Foster and the whole thing. It's like, I don't believe that the NFL is scripted. I do think that there is some. Let's face it. What's their job? To make more money. Right. So how are they going to position themselves to make more money? Well, you keep guys on the edge of their seats. They make sure franchises like the Chiefs are doing well. And if sometimes it doesn't even matter who wins the game at the end, especially the Super Bowl. As long as I kept you watching till the last second or the last minute, then I've made more money.
Yeah, but the thing what that was, you would have made more money had that call not been made. And do you know how epic the next game between the Chiefs and the Eagles would be had they let that last drive go?
That's true.
Had they just kept their fat black and white striped noses out of the business of the players? It's like, do you know how on the edge of the seat everybody would have been? Pretty much, you're right. Everybody feels cheated now. But everybody's talking about Josh Allen. I don't know why anybody standing up for this. That was the Josh Allen one. They need to shut the hell up about that one. He just lost.
Mm-hmm. I'm with it.
This one was truly taken away. And everybody's gonna say, well, you had your other opportunities, but you're in the Super Bowl. The best is playing against the best. Mm-hmm. That shouldn't happen. So yeah,
you're right. I mean, as far as the penalty goes with Bradbury, here's what I think. You're right, and that's what not a lot of people take into account. It's like yes, you talk about letter of the law. The letter of the law goes out the window when you start making calls in the first quarter. Yeah. And that sets the tempo and sets the expectation for the rest of the game. Is the way, as a player, you're the one that can tell me this because you're the player. Exactly. This is what you could get away with.
Yeah, and not so much you can get away with. It's how they're going to allow you to play.
Right.
It's like I say sometimes they say let you get away with. It's like he's not going to warn you. He's just going to flag you. Mm-hmm. And they didn't do that throughout the entire game. Gotcha. And it's just like everybody keeps talking about the letter of the law. What law is it? They trust the official's judgment. This ain't tennis. Mm-hmm. This not even tennis. This ain't ice skating. This ain't figure skating. This is not a floor exercise in gymnastics either.
All right, just a couple of guys' names I want to run at you.
Okay.
If they're going to be back, I want to start on the defensive line.
Okay.
Fletcher Cox.
Probably not. I did hear he wanted to play for Big Red one this last year.
Oh wow! All right,
I did hear about that, but I don't. But I think he's kind of pricey. So
yeah, okay. All right, let's go another. Brandon Graham.
He will be back.
All right. Okay, that makes me happy. All right, let's get off let's stay on the defensive side of the ball. Get off the line of scrimmage. Let's go to the secondary. CD Deuce. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
Number one priority.
You and I are on the same page.
Yeah, my priorities are this. Him, Hargrave, and then Hargrave, and You might have to let you're gonna have to let either Kazir White or TJ Edwards go because I want Nakobe Dean playing.
Okay, you and I.
And TJ Edwards is the odd man out because him and Nakobe played the same position. So, and TJ he should go and get paid.
Okay.
I personally think TJ is going to end up in Arizona. So.
Okay. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So and he's a smart kid. I think he'll. It's like once he got the defense down, it took him a second to catch up.
Is that Take on Me now in the background?
Yeah.
Oh. I'm a little kid, probably 7 years old, maybe 6. MTV is on. That's right, mommy and daddy. But they don't know that it won't hurt them. And this video comes on, man. Captivating. For all the kids, when this show's done, for all the kids, go to YouTube, type up "Take on Me." Is that it? Is that on the? Yeah, sorry. Okay, falsetto. Sorry, Miss Scusi. All right, so yeah. Let's flip it on the offensive side of the ball.
Okay.
On one name, I'm going to give you just one. That's all I'm going to do. Just one name.
Okay.
Jason Kelce, is he back?
Given the way that he stood out there and looked at the confetti and stuff, it can be looked at as two ways. It can be looked at as his last hurrah, or just watching his brother receive his flowers. But I think he's going to come back because I think he's coming back for Jalen Hurts because I think he wants to win one with this kid, and if they win one and go out on top, I think he wants to go out on top. That's why main reason I think he comes back. The one person I don't know if he's gonna be able to sign, and I'll be kicking myself in the nuts if I said this 2 years ago. Sayamalu, he actually became a true player this year. He became a beast this year, it's just in watching. I was noticing that Jalen Hurts would have guys at his feet, and I think, and then somebody said this to me, my trainer Andrew Hurst, he said if you watch the way the guys play when Jalen's in there, they play for Jalen because they love him as a leader and a leader of men. It's like I guess he inspires guys. Even when you watch Miles Sanders, when Miles Sanders played versus when Gardner Minshew was in there, it was night and day. So,
gotcha. I gotcha.
I would love to have him back, but I think somebody's gonna offer him the kitchen sink because he turned into a pretty good guard.
He absolutely has. I give him all the credit in the world for that. Hollis Thomas, it's always great catching up with you. You can listen to my man on the 4th and John podcast. You can listen to my man at 98.7 The Coast FM on Wildwood Radio. Make sure you guys are doing that.
That's in Wildwood.
In Wildwood, of course.
On the coast, it's like if you go to Wildwood, don't you?
Of course. Am I not the red-blooded Philadelphian?
Well, yeah, but you know that you can't really get any of our stations up there.
That is true.
So this is actually the Coast is a radio station inside Wildwood. They play some great. It's a music station too. It's great.
Do you sing? Do you do your thing there? What do you do?
No. They just carve out a couple of hours to talk sports, and I don't sugarcoat anything. I give the people what they want. I give them the uncut truth without all the cuss words. You know, it's like sometimes when we go on there, we have these times where we're talking about people. It's kind of like somebody sent me an article about an author talking about the Philly fans. He was a former New York writer talking bad about them. Okay. And I was like, everybody wants to talk about the baddest bitch when they're looking to get some press. And I was like, let him stay trying to be an author and trying to sell books.
Gotcha.
I was like, you know nothing about Philly. You're not even from here. So if you ain't from Philly, stop talking about Philly.
You speak nothing but brilliance. You really do. You speak nothing but brilliance.
Don't you get sick of sometimes with people who aren't from here or who don't live here? Talk all that extracurricular crap about how they feel that we are. How they perceive us.
Yes.
It's kind of like watching, what's the kid's name who was talking that crap? The Mad Dog today was talking crap about the Eagles. I was like, who gave you the name the Mad Dog? And have you ever laced anything up other than a jacket coat? I mean, come on.
Wait, so you're talking about Chris Russo at ESPN?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's like, but I digress. Sorry about that, though.
no worries. No worries.
It's close to dinner time.
All right, so football season's over. What are we doing now? What are you doing for funsies?
Pitchers and catchers show up pretty soon, don't they?
You're a man for all seasons. I love it. Hollis, always great catching up with you. Thank you for your great advice so I don't cut my head open again. You are a kind and decent ruler. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you.
The great Hollis Thomas joining us on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line.